Number 1. Cults are always run by men. High-profile cult leaders like Charles Manson and Jim Jones contribute to the misconception that only men lead cults, partly because cults are often linked to illegal activities, particularly violent ones, which are disproportionately committed by men. However, women have founded numerous cults as well. For example, Valentina de Andrade led the Superior Universal Alignment UFO cult, and Ma Anand Sheila, although not the official leader, ran most operations for the Rajneeshis, known for a mass poisoning in Oregon. One significant women-led cult was The Family, founded by Anne Hamilton Byrne. She began her cult career as a yoga instructor in Melbourne, Australia, and in the 1960s, she helped start The Family, which combined Eastern and Western religious elements and claimed Hamilton Byrne was the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. Hamilton Byrne recruited members from a psychiatric hospital where she also obtained LSD to administer to followers. She eventually accumulated around 28 infants and young children, some coerced from their parents and others adopted through illegal means, and kept them secret for years. These children were subjected to abuse and drugged with sedatives and LSD. Despite being arrested, Hamilton Byrne was only convicted of falsely registering the birth of 3 children and was fined. This case illustrates that women can indeed be cult leaders. Interestingly, research shows that around 70% of cult followers are women. Number 2. Cults are always religious. Cults are often associated with religion or spirituality, as the word traditionally referred to a group dedicated to a religious belief. According to Roman philosopher Cicero's definitions, a cult combines mythology and rites, while a religion adds church structure. The term cult itself comes from the Latin cultus, meaning cultivation or adoration, and originally referred to worship. By the 18th century, it could describe non-religious devotion, and by the 19th century, it applied to unorthodox religions. In recent times, the term has broadened to include any group with a specific focus or lifestyle. For example, doomsday cults center around apocalyptic beliefs, which can be religious or based on natural disasters, plagues, or conspiracy theories. Despite their failed predictions, such cults persist due to cognitive dissonance, where followers strengthen their beliefs to reconcile inconsistencies. Political cults are centered on particular political ideologies and often aim to influence elections and government, while commercial cults resemble pyramid schemes focused on making money. Racist and terrorist groups like the Ku Klux Klan are also considered cults. Some cults, like Unarius, don't fit neatly into categories. Founded in 1954 by Ernest and Ruth Norman, Unarius is based on extraterrestrial teachings and is known for its flamboyant presentations, exemplified by Uriel, who became the public face of the group. Number 3. Cult members live in communes. It's often believed that cults reside on remote farms, isolated from society, with members living, working, and dressing alike. While isolation is key for cults to foster an us versus them mentality and retain members, the reality is different. Most cults do not gather in large, secluded communes. Instead, the majority of cult members live in regular neighborhoods and hold normal jobs. They are, however, emotionally and mentally isolated from the world around them. This isolation makes them more likely to stay in the group. High-profile examples like Jonestown in Guyana are exceptions rather than the norm. The media portrayal of cults often exaggerates their living situations. Most cult members are hidden in plain sight, blending into everyday society. Number 4. All cults have a single leader. Cults are often depicted as being led by a single charismatic figure, but the reality is more complex. In some cases, like the Rajneeshis and Unarians, the public face of the cult isn't the one managing operations behind the scenes. Additionally, cults such as the Movement for the Restoration of the Ten Commandments have multiple leaders. The notion of a single puppet master controlling everything is frequently exaggerated by media portrayals. In reality, many cults operate with a more distributed leadership structure. This complexity is often overlooked, leading to an oversimplified view of cult leadership. The dynamics within cults can vary widely, defying the stereotype of a sole, dominant leader. Number 5. Smart people don't join cults. The belief that intelligent people are immune to cults is incorrect. A 2017 study in the Journal of Psychiatry Research examined the demographics of former cult members and found that over 61% had more than 12 years of education. This level of education is comparable to or slightly higher than the general population based on 2015 U.S. Census data. Researchers have noted that idealism is a common trait among those who join cults. The idea that only uneducated people fall prey to cults is a misconception. Many educated individuals are attracted to cults due to their idealistic beliefs. Intelligence does not protect against the psychological tactics used by cults. Cults can appeal to anyone, regardless of their education level. This reveals the complexity of cult recruitment and membership. And remember, joining a cult doesn't mean you're not smart, it just means you might have missed the part where they don't have a no returns policy. Number 6. People who join cults are depressed. People join cults for various reasons, and depression is not the only factor. A study found that 67% of former members felt dissatisfied with their lives before joining, while 32% reported depressive symptoms and 22% experienced family conflicts. However, many former cult members describe the initial experience of joining as one of acceptance and friendship, which can be incredibly appealing. Who wouldn't want to be part of a group where they feel welcomed and valued? Cults often use more sinister tactics to retain members, employing various forms of peer pressure and intimidation. Many former members expressed fears of humiliation, exclusion, and even violence if they decided to leave. Psychologist Steve Eichel explains that a critical aspect of cults is instilling the belief that leaving the group will lead to horrible consequences. Cult members are led to believe that the outside world is hostile and unwelcoming, while potential new members are seen as targets for recruitment. This fear of leaving and the perceived security within the group can keep members trapped, even if they are unhappy or recognize the group's harmful nature. It's important to understand that joining a cult doesn't necessarily mean a person is depressed. People from all walks of life with various emotional and psychological backgrounds can fall prey to cults. Stigmatizing those who have been involved in cults is counterproductive to helping them reintegrate into society. Instead, offering understanding and support can aid in their recovery and adjustment back to everyday life. Number 7. All cults have secret ceremonies, rituals, or practices. The reality is that not all cults engage in secret ceremonies, rituals, or practices. Cults typically cohere through a shared belief system, which can be highly sophisticated and often appears rational. This belief system might be rooted in a self-improvement program, a therapeutic approach, or even a religious belief system based on widely accepted religions. Many cultic groups do not engage in meditation, prayer, or other rituals. The defining feature of a cult is not its rituals, but its structure, control mechanisms, and the level of influence over its members. Cults often exert control through psychological manipulation, peer pressure, and social isolation rather than through secretive practices. And remember, if you're in it for the secret practices, you might find it's more about mind games than party games. Number 8. Anyone who really wants to leave a cult can. Leaving a cult is often far more complicated than simply deciding to go. Cults use sophisticated psychological techniques to manipulate and control their members, creating a deep sense of dependency on the group and its leader. They instill fear of the outside world and severe consequences for leaving, such as spiritual damnation, social ostracism, or even physical harm. Many cults isolate their members from family, friends, and society, making it difficult for them to seek help or support. Members often find their entire identity and sense of belonging tied to the group, making the prospect of leaving daunting. Additionally, financial and practical dependence on the cult can make it hard to leave without losing everything. Trauma affects how our minds work at a subconscious level, impairing independent judgment. All these factors create significant barriers that prevent many cult members from leaving, even if they desire to do so. If you found this video enlightening, be sure to check out our next one where we debunk common myths about agnosticism. Discover the truths behind this often misunderstood worldview and gain a deeper understanding of what it really means to be agnostic. Don't miss out on this eye-opening discussion.